Hi, Brandon.
Hi.
I understand that you reached out to me because you're currently unsatisfied with your career situation. Can you elaborate on that for me?
Yes, that's correct. I am currently an assistant manager at Pop Chevrolet, and my job just requires me to be back in an office all day instead of being out in the public, I guess, interacting with people, talking with people. I am stuck in an office to where it's really just me and the computer with
Yeah.
reports to fill out, with emails to answer. There's no really human interaction.
So you're kind of dissatisfied with just being in the office all day.
Yes, that's correct.
You'd rather be in the workflow with people.
Yes, I would rather be out front, talking to people.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about your background. What experiences and education do you have?
Okay, I graduated from Morehead State University with a degree in business administration. And actually, I worked at Pop Chevrolet in college while I was in school. And I was just a part-time sales associate. And upon graduation, I was promoted to an assistant manager job, and I thought that that was going to be a great career.
Right.
But in turn,
You're just not happy with
I
it.
just don't know.
Right. Not really what you thought it would be.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
well, before you came today, I asked you to take an interest profiler, which is really going to tell us a little bit about how your personality matches up with the career path that you chose.
Okay.
So let's go ahead and look at that. So it seems that the areas that you scored the highest in were enterprising, which is not surprising given the sales job that you had, social, and conventional. So, Holland, his theory is that people are happiest when you can connect your personality with your work. So, we're going to revisit this later, but I just wanted you to see the areas that you scored the highest in. And with enterprising, that means that you like jobs where you're making money, where you're persuading and leading people. You're making decisions and you're taking risks for profits.
Okay.
Are those all things that you
That
enjoy?
sounds pretty spot on.
Well, great. Okay. And then also, your second highest category was social, which, may explain why you're dissatisfied just sitting in the office. Because social people, you like teaching and giving advice and helping and being of service to people. Okay. And then conventional, you like working with clear rules, and you like either being or following a strong leader. Okay, well, that's great. Well, I'm glad that that's pretty spot on. So now we're going to revisit that later, but we're going to go ahead and use something called My Career Story.
Okay.
And with My Career Story, you're going to be basically doing that. You're going to use the My Career Story kind of as a mirror.
Okay.
And when you look in this mirror, you're going to be matching jobs that seem right for you based on your work-related interests.
Okay.
So you're going to look closely and you're going to reflect on how you can use your work and the school experience that you have in a way that's meaningful to you.
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do, and normally you would fill these out yourself, but during this session, I just thought it would be more helpful for me to ask you the questions, and I'll just kind of jot down what you say. Is that okay?
Sounds great.
All right, so we're using this workbook because you feel like you need a change, right? Okay, so you're dissatisfied with your current choice, and we're going to use this to kind of transition what you now face and what you hope that this workbook can do for you. So what do you hope that this can do for you? How do you hope this will be useful?
Well, I hope this can let me know if I really want to stay pursuing this career in the business field.
Okay. So do I want to stay in this business?
Yes.
All right. What else?
Should I just pursue something else?
Okay. So maybe should you try a different industry?
Yes. Should I try just a completely different product?
All right. So you hope that we can figure all these things out through working through this workbook?
Yes. I hope this workbook and this session will help me answer all these questions.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a great place to start. Definitely sounds like you're ready for a change. So, Tell me a list of occupations that you may have thought about doing. This could be things that you're currently doing, or things that you've thought about doing now, or things you've even thought about in the past.
Well, I have thought about possibly a career as a marketing director,
Okay.
or maybe even going back to school and becoming a teacher.
Oh, like through the MAT program?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And then also possibly even maybe being an accountant.
Okay, so you enjoy math and numbers
Mm-hmm.
and things. All right. Well, now I'm going to ask you some different kinds of questions.
Okay.
So the first thing that I'm going to ask you is, I'm going to ask you about some of the people that you admired when you were growing up.
Okay.
Now, I want this to be other than your mom or your dad. Think about people you admired when you were 6, 7, or 8.
Okay.
Okay, so who would that first person be?
Probably the first person I admired was Michael Jordan.
Okay.
He was. I'm a huge basketball fan, and he was the best.
Right.
He's the greatest all time, and you know he pushed himself. He never gave up.
Okay, great. All right, can you think of another hero?
My second grade teacher, Miss Walker, she was passionate, and I mean you could just tell that she cared about what she was doing. She cared about making a difference in our lives.
Okay, that sounds great. And can you think of one more?
Superman.
Okay.
He was invincible. He couldn't be beaten. He was unbeatable. He was just untouchable.
Okay. All right. Well, that sounds good. Okay. And now I would like for you to tell me about your favorite magazines or TV shows.
Okay. My favorite magazine is probably National Geographic.
What do you like about that?
It let me explore things that you don't see. You do how to explore new things, new places, new animals, new adventures.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there another magazine?
Sports Illustrated.
Okay.
I always just enjoy reading about people trying to achieve their ultimate dreams and goals.
Okay. And now how about a TV show?
Let's go with The Walking Dead.
Okay.
It's about survival,
Mm-hmm.
and just constantly adapting to new challenges and new environments. So I know it's a little crazy, but it's just interesting.
Okay, sounds good. Well, now we're going to take some of these things that you said, and we're going to apply it to your current situation.
Okay.
So before we do that, though, I did want to ask you one more thing. What's your favorite saying? Maybe a motto that you kind of live by, something that inspired you.
Heroes get remembered and legends never die.
Okay, that's a pretty good one. All right, well, now let's use this. This was part 1, kind of telling your story. Now we're going to transition to part 2 in hearing your story.
Okay.
So with this, you just told me some small stories about your life career by answering questions in part 1. Now we're going to take these smaller stories and we're going to put them into a big story or a portrait about your life.
Okay.
So essentially, first you act as the lead character in your own story. Second, you're going to put yourself in an educational or work setting where you feel most comfortable. And third, your story has a script with a plot, which explains who you are and how you use work in a way that allows you to best be yourself.
Okay.
So let's use the questions and answers in part 1 to tell the story about yourself, the work setting, and the script.
Okay.
All right, so the first thing we did when you described the heroes from your childhood,
Mm-hmm.
what were some of those adjectives that you used to describe each one of them?
The best.
Mm-hmm.
Passionate.
Yeah.
Invincible.
Okay. Now, were there any other words or similar words that you used more than once when you were describing them?
They never gave up. Never giving up.
Mm-hmm. Okay, now, how about 2 or more things that your heroes have in common?
They're all motivated, and all of them are passionate about what they did.
Okay, great. Were there any other significant words or phrases that you used to describe them?
Somebody that wants to make a difference. Somebody that wants to be important.
Okay, well, the interesting thing is all these words that you've described, this is you. This is your core self. So look at these words, and now I want you to think, I'm a person who is becoming, I'm a person who is, or a person who is becoming what?
Motivated, passionate, somebody who wants to become a leader.
Okay, that sounds great. Now we're going to talk about, we found out the type of person you want to be, the type of person that you hope to become. Now we're going to find out where you want to do it at, the setting. Where do I like to be? So, the magazines and TV shows can be grouped by the work settings that they represent. So now I want you to think about the words that you wrote down to tell me about why you liked those magazines and TV shows. So you like being in places where what?
Being in places where I can explore, where I can adapt to new things. Places where I can be the leader. I can accomplish my goals.
Okay, well that sounds great. All right, now we're going to take this and we're going to make what's called your summary portrait for your career story.
Okay.
So we're just going to reflect on some of the things that you've already said. So I'm just going to read this to you and see if it sounds accurate, okay? I am becoming a person who wants to be the best. I want to inspire and motivate people to accomplish a common goal.
Okay. That's right.
Okay. I like being places where people do activities such as explore and adapt to new things.
Yep.
Okay. Therefore, in these places, I want to be the leader and use my leadership to drive success.
That's right.
Okay. I will be most happy and successful when I am able to be a passionate leader in places where people set goals and accomplish them so that I can motivate and inspire.
That's right.
Okay, great. And then your self-advice, heroes get remembered, legends never die. So basically you're telling yourself that it's time to take the reins and find a more active job for you.
That's correct.
Okay, so now the third part is taking all of these things that you've learned about yourself and now you're going to enact on your new journey. So before we start here about exploring occupations, I do want to revisit the online interest profiler that you took with mynextmove.org.
Okay.
And what I did, I pulled up some suggested careers based on the personality category that you scored the highest in. So you do have some job preparation already that you needed. You have experience, you have a bachelor's degree in business administration. So it says that some of these things for your interest category in enterprising may be a sales manager, a teacher, a database administrator, a criminal investigator, or even a special agent. And then the extensive preparation jobs, this may require, more than 5 years experience, but you already have that. So some of these may be even a lawyer, an organizational skills manager, an aerospace engineer. So these are some of your options. But now, after we've reflected on some of these things, I want you to tell me some of the occupations that you're now considering.
I am considering a direct sales manager job, possibly being an entrepreneur and starting up my own business of some sort, or going back to school and becoming a teacher. Okay,
so now that you have these new ambitions, what are you going to do next?
Well, I have decided that I'm going to go home and talk to my wife, but I am pretty sure that this job as an assistant manager is no longer for me. So it's time to move on to something that is going to make me happy and satisfy myself.
Okay, well, I'm really glad that we had this session today, and it really sounds like that you've made some clear steps toward making a change for the better. Well, I would like for you to do those things that you said. Go home, explore your options, talk to your family, maybe even apply for a couple new positions. And then we'll meet back for another session, and we'll go over how you've used